Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. It's Thursday, August 7th, and this will serve as your weather update. Starting off in the tropics, we have what's left of Tropical Storm Dexter over in the northern Atlantic falling apart. However, I am tracking two areas to watch. Invest 96L with about a 60% chance of development over the next 7 days. We could have our next depression or even named storm in the middle of the Atlantic come early next week. Here's what that looks like on satellite right now. We already have some broad circulation in the low levels of the atmosphere. There just isn't much shower and thunderstorm activity. However, I do expect this to change as this system continues to push west northwest. And then, of course, back over towards home off the coast of the Carolinas, we have a weak surface low that could develop some tropical or subtropical characteristics as this pushes northeast and away from the mainland U.S. If we take a look at the GFS and we take a look at vorticity, which is just spin in the atmosphere, we see something tries to get going off the coast of maybe Virginia over towards Sunday, and then as we go into next week, it just doesn't look impressive. However, the GFS does want to take Invest 96L and turn it into a pretty strong tropical storm or even hurricane. However, this is 180 hours out, so take this with a grain of salt. However, the Atlantic basin is waking up. Back over towards home, we do have a pretty dynamic setup today for some severe weather with all hazards on the table. We could have hail the size of apples fall, as well as damaging winds and even a few tornadoes, especially in North Dakota. And we do it all over again tomorrow as the system pushes east. However, I do think the tornado threat will die off just a little bit as we go through tomorrow. Back over towards home, that cold air damming trend that we've been sitting in over the past few days will start to break down. As today we see high temperatures in Charlotte about 78 degrees, 74 in the Triad, near 77 in Raleigh. We will start to warm up over the next few days into this weekend. There is a threat, a marginal risk for some flash flooding, especially over here confined to the coast of the Carolinas. As that tropical system tries to get going, it will fling a lot of moisture over towards the coast. Not expecting too much rain. If we take a look at our 3 day rainfall outlook, we see over towards Wilmington about 1 to 1.5 inches of rain. Some localized areas could be possible, but most of this will fall in the next 48 hours. So we're only talking about some minor flooding issues. However, just be mindful of this in the low lying areas. There is a warming up trend that's going to take place for most of the lower 48 and possibly a heat wave in the northeast. We will be well above average over the next 6 to 10 days in the northeast, slightly above average in the southeast as well as the deep south, and then above average over there towards the Pacific Northwest and the desert Southwest. However, we're only going to be near normal to just barely above average in terms of precipitation and just below average over here toward the Pacific Northwest. That's all the weather talk I have. Make sure you have a way to receive updates as I'll continue to update you guys on the mainland and then, of course, the tropics as well. But I hope you guys have a good day.